the thing about Thursday night for me is we are all going to be out there with the common cause, but it's because all those people have massive hearts. Every one of those people is very fortunate. They have a very warm, bed that they could be sleeping in, but they're choosing to do this because they know they can make a difference.
Get Radio Breakfast with Rich Smith.
Now, all this week, we are chatting all things Oxfordshire CEO Sleepout. Very excited to be part of this. Getting more and more nervous, I think, nervous excitement as we head towards this amazing event, which is happening on Thursday at Oxford University College, which is going to be fantastic. I'm really pleased to be joined by Cathy Dunbabin now, Director of Opendoorz Networking. Good morning, Cathy.
Good morning, Rich.
Thanks so much for joining us. Well, look, let's just go in. We sort of explained a little bit about what is happening yesterday, and we're kind of sort of going through this. It's an amazing event where around 50 CEOs are going to be sleeping outside to give a tiny sliver of an experience as to what it is like to be homeless, but also raise awareness for the fantastic Oxfordshire Homeless Charity, which are doing amazing things with this. Cathy, from your point of view, just explain why you're doing it.
I personally did some charitable work for the homeless just via some lunches for them a few years ago, and I was really quite shocked, and I think these things are great to do, but when you dig a little bit deeper you realise what a problem it is. For me, meeting a lady who was my age and had a business, but because of a very toxic relationship, had ended up losing everything, her business, all her money, her children, and really a lot of her mind. She had lost all confidence or faith in herself, had unfortunately turned to alcohol, and found herself living in a shelter when we did an appeal with Coates. And in the end, Sonia, my business partner, and I and my sister raided our wardrobes and everything we had, because fortunately we're all of a similar size, and managed to kit her out with everything for interviews and just to feel like a human being again. So from there, it kind of triggered something. So for me, when there's an opportunity, it's not just the buying a coffee for somebody, it's chatting to them, it's understanding it a bit more, and if more people were aware, you'd be so devastated by the types of people that find themselves homeless.
I think you hit the nail on the head. Making people more aware. Homeless is that strange thing that everyone, as soon as you mention it, and that's no fault of anyone, will have an image in their head, and you'll go straight there. But that is absolutely not the case. Homeless, the definition thereof, is someone without a home, and that can happen to anyone at any time who is sofa surfing, as we've heard, who suddenly finds himself not able to go back to a safe roof over their heads at some point. And you just explained that, and that's an amazing reason as to why to do it. And I think a lot of people forget that.
Yeah, it's very easy to, and it's very easy to have that image and to stereotype. But truly, there are so many people, and it is very much a case of, only a few things need to line up the wrong way in someone's life, and that really could be any one of our nearest and dearest. My stepdaughter many moons ago, through a drug addiction, ended up homeless for a little while, and she wasn't loved, she was very loved, but it was very, very difficult to deal with, and ran away, and that's where she ended up. So it can just honestly be anybody.
No, it really, really can. And raising that awareness and making people go, hey, it's not just that, is so important. It'd be very remissive of me not to talk about networking with you on this morning, because that is your bread and butter, Cathy. So look, this is a very, very strange and unique situation where, look, we have nearly 50 CEOs who are all going to be sleeping out rough on the Thursday night, but there's an opportunity there to kind of muck in together, I guess, and chat and see how are you sort of feeling about all of that.
Well, with the rain that's forecast, we really could be mucking in together.
Don't. Oh, dear.
Do you know, Rich, it's such a strange thing, isn't it? Because what really is networking? I mean, when you are with other people, you are networking. And we have a big belief in Opendoorz about who you surround yourself with. And the thing about Thursday night for me is we are all going to be out there with the common cause, but it's because all those people have massive hearts. You know, every one of those people is very fortunate. They have a very warm, bed that they could be sleeping in, but they're choosing to do this because they know they can make a difference. I think a lot of business owners, they're very hidden with how they do it, but a lot of business owners do an awful lot to support charities. So I think the common driver is to make that difference. These people have a big heart. So you are going to get, I was nearly said a room full of people, but a field full of very, very like-minded people. They're going to share that generosity of spirit and that want to give back into the community that they enjoy the spoils for their own businesses. And I think that's key. I mean, I'm not sure as a USP for Opendoorz, sleeping with all your members on one night is perhaps a tagline we're going to use afterwards. However, it's kind of what Sonia and I are going to be doing.
My goodness, you heard it here first. Well, I think there'll be lots of sign-ups to Opendoorz from now on. Dear me, I'm hot under the collar.
The lows we'll go to.
So my last question is, and this has cropped up. The weather. I mean, we're lucky that the weather has been beautiful the last few days, and what have you. The weather is turning, and for us doing it for one night, that is not a massive hardship for the weather to be turning for one night on Thursday. But one particular thing that I think a lot of people have been sort of saying to me, and I'm going to sort of pass on to you just in case, is have you got your tarpaulin? That's the important bit.
Thankfully, the person who always has my back, who is my business partner, evidently has my tarpaulin. So I think I'm going to be good. Rich. So, and this is going to sound slightly crazy, but I'm quite glad the weather's going to change, because we're never going to be able to get the tiniest feel of what it's really like, because one night of being uncomfortable is not going to, replicate that times 365 nights. However, if the weather stayed like it's been the last few nights, it's a bit more like camping. So I hope it doesn't rain torrentially all night, because that is going to be tough. However, being cold for one night, it is just going to give us the tiniest ability to imagine what it must be like.
Yeah. No, for sure. And it's so really, everyone I've chatted to has said exactly the same thing. They've kind of gone, actually, I'm really glad of this. And the whole point of this, of course, is fundraising. We're, raising awareness, but also raising money as well. So very quickly, Cathy, where can we find your fundraising, Just Giving pages, etc.?
Rich, find Cathy Dunbabin on LinkedIn. I've actually pushed my target up this morning, because if anyone's listening who can help, we are struggling. So please do find somebody who's doing this, including yourself, Rich, and sponsor them. I've pushed my target up. Anyone who would walk past me and buy me a coffee and a sandwich, I'm going to ask them to throw a tenner on my page today and help me reach the raised target that I've got, because this really does matter.
Yeah, no, it really, really does. Cathy, thank you so much for shedding light on it, and it's going to be an amazing evening. Genuinely, it's going to be an amazing evening. I do really mean that. And the reasons we're doing it, of course, are highlighting the incredible work that Homeless Oxfordshire movement do, and raising much needed funds for them. Cathy Dunbabin, Director of Opendoorz Networking, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
You're so welcome. Thanks for having me, Rich. Thank you.
Absolute pleasure. And look, as Cathy says, if you fancy donating to Cathy, if you fancy donating to myself, and Mish, who are going to be doing it as well, you can find details at Get Radio, and of course you can find all the details under the social media post that we'll put out a bit later on today.